I am the CEO and owner of Brogan Partners. We are a full-service advertising, marketing, communications company. We've been in business for over 3 decades, and I actually started in the business straight out of college as an intern at 22 years old. So I'm going on 28 years in the business. When I first joined the agency, I legitimately fell in love with the advertising world. I think one of the things that I thought was so cool was that there was no 2 days were alone. And we were constantly doing different things. We were able to, when you have lots of different clients, you get to dive in and learn all about that client, and work with lots of different people. So that, I think I didn't realize that that's what I wanted to do. And once I started doing it, and I love to be busy. So give me a company where I can have a list a mile long and be doing and doing and going and going. And that was good for me. So it didn't take long for me to realize that I truly, truly loved this advertising, marketing, communications world. And I think too, I've alluded to this in the past, that there's the constant need to grow and learn within this business is so much fun. It has changed so much. And I know that's the case with a lot of businesses, but this one, I feel like when I got in this business, I actually started in buying media. I bought television, I bought radio, I bought cable, I bought outdoor boards, I bought some newspaper. My media team buys 35 different channels. And it's going to grow and grow and grow as you see all the offshoots of all the streaming media and everything else. So, and the ways that you can communicate are just constantly changing. So it just makes it fun. It's never dull. I'm never bored, ever. So it's funny, I feel like I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. It started when I was a little girl, and I started Back Massage Incorporated, BMI, and basically I would massage my dad's back and charge him 3 cents a minute, and I would go and generate invoices on my dot matrix computer. And he would pay me. And even as I got older and I babysat, I always kept track of how many hours, how much I made. I actually had books for my babysitting business. So I sort of turned everything into a business. And I knew when I was going to college, I knew from the time I was very small that I wanted to go to business school. There was no question in my mind that I was going to get a business degree and do something in business. I focused on marketing, and I always thought I would own my own business. And then I kind of fell into this situation where I had a wonderful, wonderful mentor in our founder, Marcy Brogan, and somehow never left. And really, if you told me 27, 28 years ago that I would have bought the business and now been a business owner or an owner of Brogan Partners, I would never have believed it. But I did always believe that I would own a business. So whatever that business looked like, I wasn't totally certain. And this one just happened to work out really, really well. And it's been amazing. Let's see, it's been a very long journey. So I became actually a partner early on, maybe within 5-6 years of being in the agency. But Marcy, we had a partnership model. And so Marcy had a lot of partners, and it meant that we had partner meetings, et cetera. And so that was back before I turned 30, very early on. And then I went on to have 3 children, and kind of scaled back my working a little bit, but I was always very, very involved in the business. in 2006, I had my third child, and I went down to working 10 hours a week. So very much scaled back, but really never wanted to completely leave, wanted to stay connected to the business. And in 2007, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And again, scaled, kept my 10 hours a week. So it wasn't until around 2010 that I actually took over. I started building back up my hours. And in 2010, I took over running the business. And it's actually a really funny story. The CEO time of our company, when I was managing partner, we had a CEO who happened to be Marcy Brogan's sister, Maria Marcotte. And I said to Maria one day, I think this was back in 2015. So I'd been running the business about 5 years. Marcy was pretty well retired. I said, Marcy's very funny, so you have to understand that. I said to Maria, does Marcy have a plan? You know, if something happens to her, what happens to the business? We've never talked about this. And so Marcy pretty quickly sent me an email that says, Maria said that you think I'm going to croak. And wanted to know, you know, what the plans were for the business. Would you like to buy it? I mean, that was essentially the email. And I wrote her back and I said, well, the sad reality is that we all do croak someday. So I know that you're not going to live forever, as much as I would love that. And lots of people would love that. And yes, let's start some conversations. So that was that. We started the conversations. It took a while because you have to do a lot of due diligence, and there's lawyers and accountants. And this was also a very unique situation because I had put in a lot of sweat equity over the years, including 5 years of running the company and really kind of building the business back up from 2007, 2008 recession time. So we, and both Marcy and I had this goal to make this a win-win. We wanted this to work out well for both of us. And so it was kind of getting the accountants and the lawyers on the same page that that's where we were going with this arrangement. And it took a long time. And we had some stops and starts along the way, but in 2017, I finalized purchase of the business. And I think both Marcy and I walked away feeling great about it. So I had been making so many of the decisions from 2010 to 2017. And what I always thought what was coolest in 2017 when I actually took over and owned the business was that I could make a donation to a charity and I didn't have to ask anyone. Or I could make a decision about a salary or a hire or anything and I didn't have to ask anyone. And so that I kind of loved because I didn't feel like I needed to ask anyone. I felt like I was very well equipped to make those decisions. And it was nice just to have that sort of autonomy to do it. I am definitely a businesswoman at heart. I'm an advertising professional second, but business ownership is at my core who I am. I love running, owning a business, and I get involved in a lot of different stuff. Marcy was a creative. She started the advertising business as a creative, which is amazing, but a completely different way of looking at the business. Many business deals, it's sort of a buyout over time. So you want to make sure, the fear is, you know, we're always dependent on having a steady inflow of clients and making sure we keep our clients happy. So like any other business, you fear that, well, what happens if something goes wrong next year and we lose business and we don't have, you know, I'm not able to sustain this. So I think that was the biggest fear. Like, how can I make sure that every single year we've got, you know, what it takes to both keep my level of salaries up and pay my people what they're worth, and also continue the buyout of the company, making sure that Marcy's getting her compensation. So I'm sort of over that fear. I've made it a few years, but I think that's the biggest thing is just wanting to make sure you always are financially in a position to take care of everything you need to take care of. I think it's a constant evolution. And I think the biggest thing is to always be willing to learn from your employees, from your clients, from the people around you, and to never feel like you're too important not to take a step back and learn from the people around you. I've got one of the things that's, I think, the most amazing, I will tell you hands down, I have the most fabulous team in my 32 employees. They are the best people, and they are what the organization is. I am not Brogan Partners. They are Brogan Partners. And I think that the most important thing is to realize that you can learn so much when you stop and listen, and that you are never too old or too smart to stop learning. The one I think I do fall short on, and I always have, is on the pricing and not charging enough. And I think it's really difficult. I think anybody in a service business, a people business, a creative business will tell you that pricing is one of the hardest things to do, because theoretically we're selling our people's brains, and we're selling our people's what they know and their creativity, and then so you go back to, one of my favorite quotes was, how long did it take you to write that radio script? Well, it took me 20 years to learn how to be a great writer and write the radio script. How long did it take me to sit down and actually write it? A couple hours. But I think that that's the whole thing that makes pricing very, very difficult. If you look at it as a straight hourly fee model, you're taking out the fact that somebody has so many years knowing how to communicate and how to change behavior and how to get people to purchase something. You're also always trying to balance, well, is my client going to come back with 10 revisions, or are they going to come back with 1 or 2 revisions? So have I figured out how to price? I don't know. It's still up in the air. I'm always trying to figure it out. I think one of the things that I have learned over the years is not to try and price in a vacuum. So I've got, like I mentioned, I have a wonderful team. I have a management team who are also my business partners, and bouncing pricing off of them helps me, keep things real and make sure that I'm not undercharging. I don't believe there's been a case where I've overcharged yet to see that one, but we'll see. When you own a business, you take the good and the bad, and you take the tough and the challenging times. You take the client losses, you take the feeling responsible for why you didn't get a piece of business. I think that for me, one of my biggest struggles, I can be very sensitive. I like my employees to all get along. I'd like for us to be one big happy family. That's not always realistic. There are issues that come up. And so I think that, when you don't own the business, you can say, well, that's not really my problem. But when you do own the business, it's all your problem. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. I always laugh when I'm having a bad day. I'll say to my management team, does anyone want to buy a business? Got a business for sale. Anyone want one? It just always makes me laugh, and it adds a little bit of levity to some, really lousy days. But we all have bad days. Whether you work for someone or you own your business, that's life. You got great days, good days, bad days, and everything in between. So you just got to learn to live with it. What does the entrepreneurial dream look like? It is getting to meet so many different people, watching people who started as interns grow into amazing professionals. I think probably my favorite thing to do is watch people grow and thrive. We've always been an organization. We bring people in as interns or entry level, and we grow them from within. And so when I look around and I think about the person that started 12 years ago as an intern and the person that started however many years ago, and see what they are doing now and how they're mentoring other people, it warms my heart so much. Don't get me wrong, we have people that did not start as interns, but just a lot of our team did, and they started very young, and they're just, watching that. I think the other thing, being able to make decisions and being able to know if a client needs something, that they know they can reach out to me and I will make it happen for them, and I don't have to cut through any red tape. It's just me. I can make anything happen, and I love that notion. I love, and I've actually, for the most part, empowered my management team and a lot of my employees to feel like no ask is too big. We will do whatever we can to make things work, and just making and sustaining and growing a culture that I'm really proud of. I mean, our mission is to make a positive difference in people's lives. That's our employees' lives by creating a great work-life balance and supportive work-life balance and watching them grow. That's our clients' lives by being responsive and being there for them and making sure that we make their jobs easier. That goes to our broader mission of the kind of advertising that we do. So, and then I think the other thing that we started maybe 3 or 4 years ago is that we give back 5% of our profits or our income in pro bono contributions, in board membership, so our time sitting on boards, in volunteer opportunities, and then in financial contributions. So I feel like I get to wake up every day and make a difference, and that's really, really fulfilling. I couldn't ask for anything more. A few things I would say. Obviously, when you start as an entrepreneur, it's usually just you, one person. You don't have more people along for the ride. But at least surround yourself with good advisors and consultants and mentors to help you. And once you start having more employees, make sure that you surround yourself with great people and people that challenge you and people that do things differently than you so that you can see different sides of the equation. Make sure that you find a business that you enjoy and that you think is fun and that you get excited to wake up every single day. And I think that always make sure that you're making money. I mean, I think that's a big thing. Make sure that you have a good understanding of the books, or that you have somebody that understands the books, and make sure that financially it's working. And never stop learning. Never, ever stop learning. Continue to grow, listen to people, keep an open mind, keep an open attitude, and you will be successful.